Welcome to ABC 24 This Week. I'm Richard Ransom. We are here talking about the real stories behind the big stories every Sunday at 9 a.m. and again at 11 p.m. So let's get right to it by looking at our topics for this week. It turns out several discussions underway in Nashville will have a huge impact here. Let's check it out. First, there's the DCS in crisis, the Department of Children's Services in dire straits. State lawmakers this week urging Governor Bill Lee to find millions in emergency funding to make things better. What will the governor do? We know what the governor will do or wants to do about our state's roads. He made news this week for a major roads proposal that includes everything from toll lanes to public-private partnerships to raise fees on electric vehicles. Will he get the support that he's seeking? And we'll also talk about the decision by Methodist Healthcare to cancel all gender-affirming surgeries. The transgender community says it gives them nowhere to turn locally, and Methodist is keeping pretty quiet about why it made that decision. We'll get to all of that in a moment after I introduce my panel. First of all, to my right is Deidre Malone. She is a political consultant and founder of the Carter Malone Group. And to her right is Reverend Kenneth Whalen, pastor of the New Olivet Worship Center and former board member for Memphis City Schools. We'll start, folks, by talking about the DCS situation, which is just ugly. It's awful. And when you read some of the details, it just makes you realize just how bad things have gotten. First, we have a graphic prepared that shows what the DCS says it feels it needs is $156 million in new funding. They already have $1 billion budget. But the reasons are the problems, and those problems include 500 vacant caseworker positions, children who are being forced to sleep on floors in office buildings, unnecessary hospital stays of up to 8 months. And when you think about, these are our children here,
right,
and these are some of the most disadvantaged children. And when you have the Department of Children's Services Commissioner, Margie Williams-Quinn, say things like, this is to the Tennessee Lookout. She said, it's a pretty horrific turnover rate we're dealing with right now among social workers, deterred by low pay, high caseloads, and increasingly stressful working conditions. Nearly half of starting caseworkers leave in their first year on the job, she said. The state is seeing record numbers of children in DCS custody. And she said, children in DCS custody who become too disruptive when forced to sleep in offices are the ones that are being sent to the hospitals. And many of them are in a bad medical situation too and are not getting the kind of care they need. So the question is, are we violating the Americans with Disabilities Act in what we're doing? And the governor has issued a statement, but it's not a very promising one. Let's show that if we can. He said, where is it? Where is that statement? There it is. He goes, DCS has made a significant budget request to ensure the department can offer competitive wages and benefits. The Lee administration is committed to solving these challenges and serving Tennessee children. Deidre, how do you interpret the governor's reaction and where things stand right now?
Well, I think that the governor has always said from day one that he cares about our children. And if he does, then he'll step up and work with the legislature to find the funding to support our children, because it's a travesty at what's happening now. Do you think about those children who are disabled, who need assistance, whose families probably can't take care of them right now, or a family member can't take care of them now, and the state, you know, as you mentioned, Richard, in terms of social workers, they're overworked, they're leaving their jobs. I'm sure it's mentally draining trying to figure out how to work within the system to help the children. And so my hope is that the governor will ask for that additional funding, but hopefully there's a strategy in place that will be beneficial to help those children immediately.
Reverend Whalen, there's lots of ways that the governor could find those dollars. Senator Heidi Campbell, who's a Democrat from Nashville, she has her own idea. Let's listen to what she has to say.
He could call a special session. He could, give an executive order. There are all kinds of ways that he could address this issue. We're just asking that he does something.
What she does not want to happen, what a lot of folks who are worried about what's going on at DCS don't want to happen, is wait and just go through the regular budget process. Wait till the session starts up in January, and the money wouldn't be approved until July, so which would be a 6 or 7 month wait. There are dollars to be found, yes, other places.
Yes, and when I first heard it, my initial reaction was, we're better than this. Mm-hmm. But apparently we are not better than this, because if we really wanted to address it, we'd address it. I couldn't believe that there are tens of billions of dollars, at least $10 billion, in the rainy day fund.
That's right.
It's been raining on these children basically since they were born. It seems to me that Governor Lee, who always tends to say the right thing, he always sounds compassionate. I have no doubt that he is. Why doesn't Governor Lee go ahead and lead the effort to go ahead and reach those rainy day funds? Let's do something about it. It's something that all of us can get behind. Again, it's been raining on those kids since they were born.
We can do something immediately.
And, you know, disproportionately affecting Memphis kids, let's be
That's
honest.
Right.
And it seems like, I also think I'm fairly critical of the local media here because we haven't done or seen a lot of stories about how these kids are being impacted and the kind of effect it's having on our community.
I'll tell you how it would get very, very much coverage. Let one of those kids commit a crime.
Yes.
One of those kids do something, shoot some other kid or whatever, and it would get the attention.
Yeah. Well, you know, I have to wonder sometimes if there's a worse state in the nation to be a disadvantaged child than Tennessee. When you look at our refusal to expand Medicaid years ago, when you look at the state of our schools in some of the most underperforming communities, and now this is just another example.
It just is. But the governor has the pen. He can do something about it, and he can do something quickly if he wants to.
Well, the GOP watches this show. I'm absolutely certain of it. I'm absolutely certain that politicos in high places watch this show and others like it. Maybe they'll listen to Deidre.
No, they'll listen to you, Doc.
Listen to me.
They'll listen to you, Doc.
All right, well, we'll leave it there, but we'll keep an eye on this, folks, for sure, because it's a dire situation, as I said, and it's having a huge impact on our community. When we come back, we're going to switch gears a little bit and talk about a proposal by the governor where he does think he's found some money for, and that is a road proposal that would mean some big changes here in Tennessee right after this.